at that too. On page 3, cruise ship workers to be quarantined again. Note that the number of positive COVID-19 cases in Trinidad and Tobago now stands at 26. So we will continue to look at that story also too. PCA probes triple killings, that is, footage from a home security camera near to where police shot and killed 3 men in Morvan on Saturday, has surfaced on social media, leading to some speculating that the footage may contradict the police's account of what happened. So we look at that story too. Cops kill 3 in Morvan. Dad, I want justice for my son. That detail you can catch on page 5 of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Crown Point, a man shot after party. Man shot dead in Pettit Valley. Well, the wave of criminality continues in Trinidad and Tobago. South lawyers write the Attorney General, pause land bill debate and hold talks. Ministry apply for plant import permits. And well, to some news on crime. 12 Venezuelan held, gun ammo seized, plant-like substance found. Those are some of the crime stories as published in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Penal house collapses, family of 5 out in the cold. Karim tends to his constituents. Those are some stories on page 9. Politics should not be a dirty game. Well, if you think that politics is not a dirty game, well, then you should not throw your hat into the ring, my friend. Yes, that's the thought coming from Saddam, UNC's candidate for San Juan Baratoria. He's saying politics should not be a dirty game. I guess he was referring to stories last week, or a story last week where certain allegations were made about him. Well, that's another story for another discussion. San Fernando waterfront launch, no election, because I mentioned it on Friday. I mean, I find it is quite ridiculous, and I'm just offering an opinion here. And you can share your thoughts with me a bit later on. The San Fernando Waterfront Development Project. That project would have, let me see, announced by one Basdev Pandey way back in the 1990s. It was also announced too by Patrick Manning, former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. So too Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the political leader of the United National Congress. And now we have Dr. Keith Rowley. And yes, last week the sword was turned. San Fernando waterfront launch, no election gimmick. Well, we will just have to see how that pans out in the coming week. Those are about some of the stories and of the Newsday newspaper. You are asked to go outside there and purchase your copy of this publication. As I said, it is priced at only $3 and it's available at all leading newsstands throughout Trinidad. Well, in an item of sport, the Trinbago Knight Riders, and we're talking here about the Caribbean Premier League, the Trinbago Knight Riders to ramp up CPL preparations. Now, that's a story which I'm very interested in because I spoke to Manohar Ramsaran sometime last week as we discussed the CPL and how challenging it would be for the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, by extension also to the organizers of this. Getting into this competition in this COVID environment can be quite challenging indeed. Well, we'll continue to look at West Indies players to wear Black Lives Matter logo on shirt colors. Holder, that is Jason Holder, the captain of the West Indies team, duty to show solidarity. West Indies will wear a Black Lives Matter emblem on the colors of their shirts during July Test Series against England. Captain Jason Holder hinted in his first press conference of the tour that West Indies would look to support the movement in some way, and said in a statement yesterday, quote, "We believe we have a duty to show solid awareness," end of quote. The thoughts there coming from Jason Holder, a West Indies captain. Anyway, those are about some of the stories, as I said, are trending in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. You can go outside there and purchase your copy this morning. It is priced at only $3 and it's available at all leading newsstands throughout Trinidad and Tobago. When I come back after this short commercial break, well, of course, we'll engage you in discussion and invite your calls at 636-7547 and 227-5739. Note also too that you can catch us live on YouTube at RCL U975. Let me repeat that. You can catch us on YouTube live U975. Also log on to 975radio.com. Listen live at 975. So you have a number of mediums whereby you can catch us this morning. You're with 975 FM Hot Like Pepper, the morning program. When I come back, of course, I'll be introducing you to a colleague of mine who will be sharing the studio with me as of today. Note that Mukesh Baburam has his own program now on evenings from 6 in the evening until 9 o'clock. You can catch him there. And today, of course, I'll be introducing you, as I said, to a lovely young lady, someone who I would have worked with for an Dookie. When we come back, we'll engage you. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper.
Hi, Sharon. How is your daughter?
Fine. She's 2 inches taller.
My son is 5 inches taller.
My daughter's class prefect.
Well, my son is president of the book club.
My daughter scored 90% on her SEA test.
My son... Fine, you win.
Newsday's newly revamped SEA test supplement helps students improve their chances of success. Let your child build today the future they want tomorrow.
Available in your Monday Newsday. New and credible.
Fact. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk. This Monday, 29th June from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, this Monday, 29th June for Talk Your Talk.
Yes, at 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Just about 20 minutes here past the hour of 6 o'clock. And let me remind you, that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio. 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let me say a very special good morning to Shiva Parasram this morning, who is bringing us this live broadcast into your homes and wherever you are. We are live on YouTube. Yes, you can catch us live on YouTube at RCL U975 FM Hot Like Pepper. And the lovely lady you see sitting next to me this morning, is a former colleague who worked together for a number of years. Articulate in her pronouncement, especially on politics and current affairs in the country. So let me say a very special welcome to Nicole Dookie. Welcome to the airwaves of 975. Welcome to the family of U975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Always a pleasure to sit next to a beautiful young lady, you know. I've grown tired of looking at Mukesh every morning. So it's a welcome sight to introduce you into our program here this morning. Nicole, thank you very much for choosing 975, and we hope you have a long stay with us here, and it's a very successful and productive one indeed.
Good morning, Kenrick, and good morning to your listeners on U97. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited.
Well, you look quite excited indeed to be here, and I like your personality, very bubbly personality indeed. Yes, folks, so Nicole will be sharing the studio with me as of today. I trust that you will give her all your respect, which she so deserves, as we engage you in discussion this morning. Well, indeed, we have a number of issues which I want to talk to you here about this morning, and Nicole too will add her input into these discussion. Well, the big story here this morning is that delinquent barmen, well, they have been threatened with cutting supplies. No rules, rum. That's the big story indeed. And over the weekend, I would have visited watering holes, and I can tell you, Nicole, that these watering holes, there was an absence of people actually adhering to the guidelines, more so in wearing masks and what have you. And the Prime Minister, in his pronouncement on Saturday, said that if these bar owners do not adhere to the rules, to the guidelines, to prevent further the spread of COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago, well, then he is threatening to shut them down. And by shutting them down, you will have, by extension, a number of people and being sent home.
Yes, Kenrick, but prior to the bars reopening, I think it's not generally throughout the entire COVID period, you would have seen people who were not adhering to the public health regulations, and they were doing their own things, because I don't know if you would have recalled, apart from bars being open, people were having their home parties, COVID parties, and you would have seen so many persons, the police service would have had to bust down on all these parties and stuff. So it's not just the bars. But in terms of the bars, I really think that the bar owners should have, in one particular case over the weekend, I don't know if you would have saw relating on social media with us, a bar where there were lots of people on the outside. And had you listened or had you read about what the response of the bar owner was, and he was like, outside he had no control over. And my thoughts were, okay, but you could have called the police, to save yourself and other bar owners, because when one bar creates this problem, then it makes it harder for the rest,
So, well, even before the announcement was made by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley as to the opening up of some of these businesses, casinos, cinemas, restaurants where you're dining, and more so bars, I said very early in the game it would be very, very difficult indeed to police this. But I asked the question here this morning, Nicole, and I'm hoping that maybe our listening audience can contribute and lend their thoughts to. Here it is, you have the authorities of the day threatening bar owners that if they do not comply, if they do not adhere to the rules, that they will be shut down.
Yeah.
But I asked the question also too. But then, in essence, how do you respond? I'm talking here about the authorities. How do you respond to you have over 100% of passengers on PTSC buses? The objective here is to prevent the spread of COVID-19, to restrict movement, or not rather movement, to restrict the number of people gathering in one jurisdiction. But you have PTSD operating at 100%. I mean, it's difficult to police all of these. Out the barmen and say, well, look, if you are not adhering, we're going to shut you down. One must take it into consideration, too, that there will be repercussions. But I see we have some callers on the line here. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning, and welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, good people.
And good morning to you, my friend Bawani. How are you?
Let me say
New lady is Nicole Duki.
Who? Nicole Duki?
Nicole Duki.
All right. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you.
And I hope you find working with Kenrick a pleasure.
I hope, yes.
I only teasing him, eh? That's my partner, so I could tease him.
All right, go ahead, Bawani. We've been talking here about the Bar Owners Association of Trinidad and Tobago will support the measure. They are calling on their membership to, let good sense prevail. Your thoughts on all of this?
Kenrick, before we go there, you know, anything that spark a little controversy, we just get, but it happened. Right. The situation is you cannot control crowds. No matter how you try, no matter how you like. And especially crowds in that sector, that people are going to commute, people are going to do that. Now, the question you raised about the bus, PTSC, and other transportation systems carrying 100% passengers, that is indeed a cause for concern.
No, my
56 there them.
Yeah.
They're running at 100%, yes?
Right.
Right. And then you are taking issue with people getting into bars without wearing masks and so on. To me, it is a bit hypocritical. Your thoughts?
But even look at the maxi taxi situation. Let's pay them a certain money to help them, through this situation. Let them run at 70. Let all the transport still run at 75%. So you could practice social distancing. But you sit down in a maxi or a bus with somebody close to you. The person just bust out a sneeze. Unexpected, you understand?
But hold on, don't you think that the government of the day or the authorities of the day would have been mindful that this would be very, very hard to police? Is it true that the bar owners have been threatened for, let's say, non-nationals working at these bars or working at these establishments? And most of them, or rather some of them, would be coming in from the illegal borders, so to speak, our porous borders.
Right.
And they may be what you call potential carriers of this virus.
Of course. And then the other, even churches. Now, why does it tell churches to put in place social distancing and stuff like that? A church with 500-600 people, you think they would, unless they're having 2 or 3 services, you think they will adhere to that as well?
Bawani, I can tell you something. I've been out there over the weekend, and to me, it's a free-for-all, you know.
It is.
It is a free-for-all, despite all of the restriction, despite all of the guidelines, despite all of the warnings. It's a free-for-all.
Yeah. So, I mean...
So why single out the bar owners?
Somebody said the other day that, you see, the government was not specific. The government should have said all eating establishments. Well, you had to categorize them because you're going for doubles. You might hardly go for doubles 10 o'clock. You might go for doubles 6 o'clock. So all eating establishments categorized to open and close specific hours. Saying them could close 10 o'clock and open back 12 o'clock because 12 o'clock is the start of a new day.
No, well, I think that...
they adjusted the public health regulations to ensure that bars are open at 8 a.m. in the morning.
8? I still find that too early.
Okay, let's give somebody else a chance this morning. Thank you very much for your thoughts with us this morning. Yeah, you're with 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. You talk. You can call us this morning at 636-7547, 227-5739. It's just about 6:30 here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. It's time for our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. Stay with us. 975.
323C2 Rentals, number 77 Bonaventure Road, Gasparillo, for your business and personal tool and rental needs. Available for rent, core-in machines, compactors, concrete, free transport in and around Gasparillo, and at very competitive prices. Visit or call us at 650-2362 or 789-4581 for more.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials, from not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood. An assortment of can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
It is back. Talk Your Talk is back. This is Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return of Talk Your Talk this Monday, 29th June from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, this Monday, 29th June for Talk Your Talk.
Hi, Sharon. How is your daughter?
Fine. She's 2 inches.
5 inches taller.
My daughter's class prefect.
Well, my son is president of the book club.
My daughter scored 90% on her SEA test.
My son... Fine, you win.
Newsday's newly revamped SEA test supplement helps students improve their chances of success. Let your child build today the future they want tomorrow.
Available in your Monday Newsday. News and credible.
Yes, remember the Newsday. It's independent and credible, and you can get a copy at all leading newsstands throughout Trinidad and Tobago. And note that in our promo there, well, you can now join us. The lovely voice you've been hearing this morning is that of Nicole Duki, who is part of the 975 FM Hot Like Pepper morning program, as we discuss with you the issues of the day. Note that you can call us at 636-7547 and 227-5739. In the first part of our program this morning, we're talking here about this threat coming from the authorities of the day. More so, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to here to the regular. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning to the young lady next to you.
Well, but before you go on, my friend, the young lady next to me is Nicole Duki.
Yeah, I got her title.
Yes. So what's on your mind this morning? Go ahead.
Well, welcome. And to you, Mr. Kenry, good morning.
Thank you very much.
What's on my mind is, I saw a piece of that video.
Mm-hmm.
And on the first day the bar opened, I live in that community, so there are 2 bars like that.
Right.
My road, Audi Road, and the one on 3rd Avenue, also had the same amount of people. The one on 6th video just came out. So I asked myself, this is a competition between X and Y, and somebody decided to put up. Understand what I'm saying here, right, ma'am?
Yes.
Because The police station is less than
On
2
Third
blocks
Avenue.
away.
Yeah.
Alright. You know the
Know the
location.
area, yes.
Right. So as they normally do on a Friday or Saturday within that location. And if you look at what happened there, people normally gathered in different groups. And if we are allowed to gather, and Mr. Kendrick, let me point out something to you. The first wave in one time, I think it's China if I'm not mistaken, they opened a bar. And we have to understand this is an individual responsibility. One person went into a bar and created out. Right? See, we do have a subway system. Outside it has a subway system, and everybody in a maxi or a bus is supposed to wear a mask. So if we get on a bus and we can't have social distance, the idea is to have your mask on. So it's an individual responsibility.
But hold on. No, but let me challenge you here. I don't think the issue in the main is about controlling the number of people at any given establishment.
Understand the point I made in the initial state of my argument. Is that this person put up this video on behalf of another bar owner? But that can't make sense because it's closing on all our way, or is it that he was just concerned? Because if he was concerned, you could have, the same way you do that, you could have called the police.
And look, one must also take into consideration the repercussions that this situation would create, where if it continues like this, that bar owners are not adhering to the necessary restrictions sent home, people will lose their jobs. And
the bar owner could only be responsible I could only be responsible for who inside my bar.
All right, well, hold on.
That's the problem there.
Well,
the police normally don't know the pass, and if you congregate more than 25 in one spot, the police now will charge everybody for parking and run the crowd.
Well, hold on. We understand the situation. Let's look at the solution. What is the solution, if there's any at all?
Well, the solution is you have to have a different kind of bar. You can't have a bar that's allowed to have 20 people inside. You as the bar owner have to know who you're selling to, whether your patrons leaving or they're going and stand up on the outside.
All right, so the onus is on the bar owners, yes? And what about the role of the teacher? No, hold on.
Is our own, because I buy 5 a week go on and the bar full, but we buy 5 here and we go and stand up outside. The police come and tell me now we have to move it back. And you start to make noise. That is unfair to the police and unfair to the bar owner. So the responsibility for so that's what going on. Yeah, what they tell me? I ain't going to sell the bar. That's what they telling me, you know.
Yeah.
So the bar owner has a responsibility to come outside and observe the patrons.
All right. Well, I hear you, my friend, and thank you very much for your contribution here with us. Note that I think that there was a report last week, Nicole, in one of the channels. I think it was CNN or channels, and in Florida, which would have now recorded a number of positive cases, and they would have open restaurant, bars, and what have you.
Yeah.
And owners, look, you can open, but you cannot sell alcohol. So it's a ball of confusion, and there will be all of these issues surrounding the responsibility of the bar owners, the responsibility of the TTPS. Let's take this call on the line. Hello. I'm sorry to miss your call. You need to call us back. 636-7547-227-5739.
Yeah, but even though and the caller was right, of each and every person, they have to know what is right from wrong. And each crowd, it's easy. You can move away. There are other bars. There are other options.
Nicole, this is Trinidad and Tobago.
True. I do
ours
agree.
is a very unique society.
A lawless society.
Very unique indeed. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Kendrick, and good morning, Mr. Key.
Good morning.
Good morning, dear. How are you?
I'm doing good.
What's up?
Listen, that virus is on its way. I was reading a report last night, and they say that in the next 4 years, the tourism industry in the whole Caribbean is going to be on a lockdown kind of basis. It's not going to thrive. Even our carnival next year will suffer.
Yeah.
You know that, right? In this report, it talked about the agriculture section in the Caribbean, and they also talked about the economic uprising of the economy. But they say in the next 4 to 5 years, things will slowly start to pick up. We're not going to pick up much, but the virus is coming. But I want to talk about those bar owners. Many of those bar owners are absentee landlords. They are leased out properties. And the bar owners contract their license to other people to run. Like the responsibility gets shifted to these other people who are managing the bars for these owners, and the owners only get their rent and they're happy with that. And I think that is a sense of recklessness.
The challenge. Yeah. What is the solution? Can we find a solution to this? We understand Trinidad and Tobago like a lime, especially myself. I found myself out in the cold because I cannot go to my favorite watering hole because I cannot go I cannot go into an establishment with a mask, and every time I had to take a sip of my favorite beverage, I had to pull down that. So it is quite challenging, these restrictions. How do we go about it? How do we solve this problem? How do we move forward?
These restrictions have no guidelines. We're just hearing it. Because the fault is government is not managing the communication down to that board. And it's all political appointees, and they don't care because they have their own investments. And it's all about money at the end of the day.
All right, ma'am. Well, I want to thank you very much for your contribution here with me this morning. No, I don't think that the bar owners ought to be wholly responsible. Here, we all are in this together, you know. And if we do not behave in a particular way, we will have to face repercussions. And some of the repercussions, I'm telling you, some of these guidelines will be introduced back into again, where the Prime Minister will have no choice but to say, you know what, let me shut down these bloody places. Because they're not adhering to the guidelines. They're not adhering to the guidelines. You go into any particular establishment during the course of the day, and I challenge any one of you, and tell me if you see the adhering to the guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health. The answer is no, they are not. Yeah. It's a free-for-all. And I asked the question this morning. Look, and even last week or week before, the 2021, we are thinking about hosting Carnival 2021 in this COVID environment. And yet now we have a situation in front of us where bars would have opened last week.
Right.
This weekend would have been the litmus test as to how people would behave.
Yes, and not only the bars, but when you look at the beaches, when you look at the rivers, and because people are live on social media and you're looking and everybody's they're close to each other, stuff like that. So it's not like, it's not just the bars, it's across the board.
In my conversation with people over the weekend, Mukesh, sorry, Nicole. Yeah, I will have to get I will have to get accustomed to that. Yeah. In my conversation with people over the weekend.
Yeah.
The challenge will come.
Opened, yes, very much so.
Because right now we have in the country, we can say we are quote unquote COVID free. Yeah. There's no what you call a community spread and so on. And
it's under control.
Yeah, and we have all of the necessary measures put in place to deal with positive cases. We have the necessary measures in place, the infrastructure. But can we really deal with an overwhelming situation? It will be quite a challenge indeed. I can tell you that.
It will be, definitely. It will be, because even our health system can only take so much, and that's why they've been pushing to control it. But then when the borders reopen, what will happen? And
it's so funny that here it is, you had bars, a number of people would have flocked to bars, casinos and what have you on Friday and Saturday and even on yesterday morning. And we have all of these challenges are facing us now.
Yeah.
And yet we are continuing with this conversation about Carnival 2021. Yeah.
But Kenrick, I think that as the rivers, the beaches for so long, I think that's the reason why we saw so many persons heading to these places. But I think eventually in the coming weeks it might just die down. The drive to go to these places will die down. People will be like, okay, well, we've been to the bars, was only reopened this week, last week.
Well, this coming weekend will tell.
Yeah. Well, this weekend is still fresh, though. It's still fresh. Who didn't make it this weekend gone will actually come out this weekend,
All right.
So.
Okay, when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion with you right here on 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Radiator Works specializes in rebuilding, repairing, recoring, and cleaning of all automotive and industrial radiators. Also oil coolers, heat exchangers, and gas tanks. A wide variety of metal and plastic radiators are also available. Visit any of the branches today. Vista Bella, our newest location in San Pedro via Rio Claro. Call today 652-6297 or 747-8601. Davies Radiator Works. We cool the heat when you overheat.
Davidson Safety Supplies. We supply a wide range of industrial needs such as face masks, coveralls, shirts and pants, jackets, aprons, lab coats, fire-resistant clothing, steel-toe boots, and we also do embroidery and printing. Visit Davidson Safety Garments Industrial Supplies Limited at number 163 Southern Main Road, Marabella, or call us at 289-0507, 289-0508, or WhatsApp us at 773-3863. Our fax number is 653-9271, or you can email us at sales@davidsonsafetygarments.com. Whatever your safety needs, we can supply.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for staying with us here at 97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper. We're moving up to the hour of 7 o'clock. Let's take this call on the morning and welcome to 97.5. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kenrick.
And good morning to you, sir.
I think the bars is not a problem. Rowley scared. The bars is one of the main campaigning ground. That is the campaign besides social media and thing right now. He's scared of that. And don't worry about Carib. If Carib don't want to sell the bar, most bars will buy from wholesalers. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your contribution here with me this morning. I mean, yeah, here it is. You have a threat being issued to bars across the land, across the country, that if they do not adhere to the guidelines and what have you, well, these beverages company, they are saying, well, look, they will not provide you with the necessary service. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to strike a balance in what you're doing. You need the income, you need to kickstart the economy, but at the same time, you need to look at what is in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Operate in a COVID environment, and as I said last week, we can go on there as a people we would want to behave, and we would have failed thus far. Let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kenrick. Good morning to your co-host.
Yes, and good morning to you, my friend, Mr. Ellie. Well, you have a mouthful for me this morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, boy, because I from the area too, and I just see the nonsense going on with these people by the corner of these bars. She do two bar in Bath area. And I will point my finger at the direction of the police. Because always I'll be patrolling the area, and if you see a big thing now, you go inside the bar and buy, and they come outside the corner and they line in. And you play, they have a law against loud music. So these people who are outside in the road, or they don't care about nobody. So the police duty is to get rid of them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Because yesterday I was in the Arima area, I was just showing and somewhere, and anyway see a crowd, is a bar.
No.
Yes?
Even though we would have had complaints coming from a certain jurisdiction, that doesn't mean to say it's not happening in other places in the country, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm not going around the place, sir. Now, to me, they've been reckless on some people's behalf. You come with a cooler way. We feel it's a cricket match or football match. It's kind of like a party having there.
Well, to me, this is an idle threat coming from these beverage companies. I can tell you why. They need the money, you know. They need the money. They have their staff. They have to pay bills. So you really think they're going to withhold services to these bars? Huh?
Yeah. But the police duty is to go there and enforce it. All they get out of here, go home in all your house, go to Savannah or something, get out, get in traffic jam. And then they sit on the pavement like they own the pavement there. Just like you see table and chair and people eating on the pavement there.
Now, I visited a particular, let's say, quote-unquote, lineman joint in Shogunas. I just want to describe it as that. And I want to applaud the management of the day for certainly ensuring that there were guidelines, and these guidelines were followed. You had to sanitize yourself. You had to sit in a particular area, while others, it's a free-for-all.
Well, where I don't normally hang out, yesterday, the owner of the establishment is outside. You understand? He had dog half open, he explaining to people. Yeah, because you say he ain't taking no ticket, he ain't taking no charge from nobody, and they're reckless. But bet your bottom dollar, the people behavior is reckless to the highest order now. But they just don't care about nobody.
So how do we get around this? What is this solution? If we can actually get a solution, what is the solution?
The police. Police had to enforce this thing. Right? They had to enforce this in the hell high water. Because people need this a release. It comes like a release. You know, all the 4 months we don't lockdown, it comes like a release. I tell you, just how they're going to be cooking on the pavement. No, yeah, I see it every day. I don't like I just be hanging out too. I appreciate people that have a little freedom, but oh gosh, man, you can't be. Because I can do it because I feel no, it don't work so. And the loud music, no. That people around the very loud music dangerous for all the
Yeah, but the loud music that falls under the responsibility of the Environmental Management Authority.
Right. But the police are the decibel gauge on them to test your level. I call this morning, the police get out there and enforce the law. Because the bar people, I ain't defending them, but 4 months they was out of business here. 4 months. So the people have a right, they have people employed, they have a business. But get the lighters and the coolers and everything. Go inside your house and do it.
My friend, and thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for your contribution here with us this morning. But just in case it escapes some of you what we are talking about here this morning. Delinquent bar owners threatened with cutting supplies. No rules, no rum. Fine, good morning.
And good morning to you, Kenrick.
And good morning to you, my friend, Mr. Bang Village. How are you doing?
I'm good. And good morning to the lady there.
The lady there, quote, my friend, is Nicole Duque. But she'll be back with me.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, go ahead. What's on your mind this morning?
I was up in Sandy Grande yesterday evening, right? And right opposite the station, there are about 8 elderly persons sit down drinking, close, right? You understand? And the police have a lot to do with it, because in the end of the day, you can't control a drunk man as a normal citizen outside there. You understand? And it makes it bad for the bar owners and them, because here, this administration could go and close them down again and they could end up without a business, right? So I asked the police and them to come out and do the job, because they could control them. And Ashanti, I could just go a little bit, I'll stray a little bit with concerning Mr. Pandey.
All right, sure, go ahead.
All right. You know that calm, eh? You know that calm. Because I get so fed up. Because I remember the same fellow, Mr. Pandey, stand up and said there's no room for third party. They would get vote and they wouldn't get seat. And today I see Mr. Pandey and Makila is opening a party. And you and I know it's a split the vote.
And no. I don't know if it is split the vote. You're making that pronouncement, not me. Go ahead.
I am telling you, because it happened. History repeating themselves, and karma is a bitch, So that now let me go back to it. I noticed that they open. I asked myself the question: what is Mr. Pandey and Makila agenda? You understand? Now me I have no problem to open the party, but I asked myself, why had it be UNC people? You understand? Open small party. What I asked for this morning is for the UNC, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bissessa, and a team to try and see if they could talk to these smaller parties and come to some kind of conclusion, Kenrick, for the benefit of this country, because we cannot take our next 5 years and back in power. You understand? Because you and I are not, I shouldn't say you, but I know, and other people know, that it will be bad for this country. So I asked the UNC to find some kind of solution, and to come to some kind of small agreement and let me get the country in the right footing, my brother, because we chose PNM 5 years ago and it was not good.
All right, well, I hear you. And just let me inform you that the Congress of the People, a third force or whatever, they would have said that they are not prepared to go into any sort of, let's say, a collaboration or coalition or whatever you may want to describe it with the United National Congress. So too the movement for social justice. These parties and the leaders would have said that they want no accommodation with the UNC. They are prepared to go it alone. But to go back to the Patriotic Front, would have said that they are not about to split votes. They are those supporters or those people who feel disenfranchised to come to their party, that is the Patriotic Front. So, but I agree with you. Basde Pandey on many occasions in the 1980s and 1990s and so on would have talked about don't allow them to split your votes. But here it is, you have now come up with a party, the Patriotic Front, led by your daughter, and these views are being shared. But it's a matter which we will continue to look at here, and something which we will continue to discuss with you, the listening audience. We're heading up to the just about 4 minutes here to the hour of 7. And note that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. And yes, you can also catch us live on YouTube at RCLU 975. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975.
Welcome to Miss Nicole Duki.
Yeah, and good morning to you, Chris.
You'll find this very exciting in this radio station, and Kendrick Jagannath hosting the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear all kinds of different comments, so you have to know what you're doing about third, fourth, and I do not agree that Mrs. Bisesa should accommodate any other party. You see, the problem here is not the party, the problem is the people. If the people, you vote for this A, B, C, D, or Z party, and they're not going to get into governance, why are you voting for them?
Mm.
If you really want change in your country, if you really have a futuristic view of where you should be, you have to look at the parties who could deliver and say, okay, let's go with the ones who could deliver. We have seen, Chambers made a statement, not a damn seat for them. What was George Chambers saying? Did people analyze the statement? Chambers was saying, hey, here what's going on. You see that parliament? That is for Indian party and African party. If you're with we, you're there. And if you're not in the Indian African party, you're at them and you're not going to sit in that parliament.
Mm-hmm.
So said, so done. When the same ONR come back and join with the United Democrats, they got 33 seats. 10 to 33. 20 was the next party. When Sandukran came in 2007, he did the same thing, right? And I supported him. I was hoping that the people would at least change what's happening with them. No, the people didn't change it. With Sandukran get a seat. So if we want to continue to vote the MSG, we want to vote the patriotics, we want to vote, we are free to cast our vote as we want to.
Agreed.
But not going to go and tell Kamla, pay Kamla, bring them together. Because you bring them together, and what is it that they open a party for? In my opinion, I'm in free back door. So you're going to start a party, and you hope that Kamla play with again from an association of all to get into the parliament. But what can you deliver?
All right, Chris, we have to leave it here for a while, but you can call me back after the 7 o'clock hour because
thanks,
I want to get your thoughts on this threat coming by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley for delinquent bar owners. Call me back after the 7 o'clock hour. Thank you very much for your thoughts with us here this morning. Folks, we up to the 7 o'clock hour. Let's take the 7, Nicole Duki, and then we'll come back with you into the second hour of today's edition of the morning program, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Stay with us. I'll be right back after this.
Puzzle lovers, rejoice! Your free 24-page Newsday puzzle book is now available twice a week, only in your Trinidad and Tobago Newsday. Now you really can look forward to staying home. Newsday, independent and...
Time has come. New 97.5. Yes, something for everyone. 975 FM, music for you, it's all about you. 97.5 Patrol Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad...
Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Duki. Good morning. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has stated that government will continue to pursue the establishment of the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. He made the statement over the weekend. The Prime Minister said government has been trying to maintain social services even though revenue has been declining. The decline in revenue is due to a drop. The Prime Minister said in order to address matters, government is working towards a more efficient system of tax collection.
I've done reasonably well in this country. I have a property in Goodwood Park. I have one in Mason Hall in Tobago. I have one somewhere else. Bottom line is in one Woodbrook Place, not paying 1 cent property tax.
In some other news, the Bar Owners Association of Trinidad and Tobago is calling on bars to uphold health and safety regulations or face shutdowns. This as the association issued a statement emphasizing their support of the regulation. Bar owners were held for operating their bars after hours. The bar minister for the intervention. There have been speculations from the opposition in recent weeks on whether elections may be held in late August or early September. However, with Parliament's annual recess quickly approaching, MPs are waiting to see if any election day may possibly be called. Parliament normally takes its annual recess from the first week of July until September. Leader of Government Business Camille Robertson-Regis said regulations allow for sittings to continue until July 3rd. However, according to Parliament regulations, both the upper and lower houses of Parliament must take recess until the first week of September. Dr. Keith Rowley said that elections would be called when due and no later than December 23rd. In some more news, passengers quarantined on the Enchantment of the Seas cruise ship will now be moved to state quarantine on land. This comes following a decision from the Ministry of Health. In a media release, the ministry said the decision was taken in light of 3 recent COVID-19 cases from the ship. Over the weekend, 2 more persons on board the vessel tested positive for the virus. According to the ministry, the decision was made after a virtual meeting involving the Ministry of National Security and other stakeholders, nationals on board the vessel. The ministry said this is to facilitate the continued monitoring of these nationals. The ministry said the nationals would be held in quarantine for a short period of time, where another round of PCR tests would be conducted during this week. Meanwhile, 12 Venezuelan nationals are in quarantine at Stobbles Bay in Chaguaramas. This after they were held trying to enter the country on Saturday afternoon in Palo Seco. According to reports, officers from the Siparia police station received information that a boat with Venezuelans illegally entered the beachfront, after which the migrants jumped into 2 waiting vehicles. They are driven by Trinidadians. The Venezuelans and Trinidadians were detained and transferred to the Siparia Health Facility to be immediately tested for COVID-19 and then transferred to Stobbles Bay. In some regional news now, District 4 returning officer Clarence Megu has claimed a second fraudulent declaration of Demerara Makaika. This comes following hours of chaos on March 13th. His claims were made even though earlier that day, Chief Justice Roxanne George issued specific instructions of the use of statements of polls, which he failed to use. A second fraudulent declaration compounded the electoral crisis that had blown up around his first libeled declaration in March. In international news, China is not taking any chances of a second wave gripping the country despite having largely contained its outbreak in recent months. This after the number of people killed by the coronavirus passes 500,000 worldwide. In mid-June, a cluster of cases were linked to a fresh produce market in the southwest of the capital. Authorities quickly imposed a lockdown of 11 residential compounds in the vicinity of the market, prohibiting anyone from entering or leaving. Checked and reported on a daily necessities were delivered. In news coming out of the weather now, today will be partly cloudy with showers expected in varying localities. Heavy showers or thunderstorms are likely in few areas during the afternoon period. The maximum temperature is 32 degrees. High tides 10:44 a.m. and 11:18 p.m. Low tides 4:45 p.m. Sunset is at 6:30 p.m. And that was your 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Leisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday. A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forget contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We sell dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 industrial estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Just about 11 minutes here past the hour of 7 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind QTC of a radio on YouTube at RCL U975, and you can also catch us when you log on at 975radio.com. Well, we have some other callers here on the line. To 975, good morning.
Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Miss Suki, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning to you, Mr. Larry Sami, and how are you this morning? Good morning.
I am fine. I am very much fine. I had a fantastic hard day's work yesterday at home. As you know, I'm doing some serious work. That really purchased my case of my favorite beverage. I do not need to visit the said bars. But Kenrick, I now pass the Stanley Grande bus terminus there, where all the buses are assembled. And I sparked up my vehicle, came out of my vehicle, and I watched something. And I'm very being observant of this. I just saw about 47 people entering a PTSD bus, and nobody has on a mask. And it's standing right on the corner to share tape for those taxi drivers who are breaking the law. And yet, it is not mandatory by law that you wear a mask. The challenge is that people are going into the PTSD buses, they're not wearing masks. Last week Friday, I was in the vicinity of the El Dorado area. I saw a 12-man maxi taxi. Everybody stood down in it. Nobody has on mask. So then, what is the sense you are putting up a sign mark, no mask, no service?
Well, you see, Larry, unless we do not adhere to the guidelines, I will not be surprised if it is mandated, or rather, a Prime Minister announced that it is mandatory.
Right.
No, go ahead.
Good. And that is the point I wanted to make. Yes. We are expecting our borders to be open. Agreed? If the government do decide to open these borders of our country by October this year, and an election is called. And by opening the borders, Kenrick, we all know that we may have coronavirus cases coming in, okay? Then eventually, then they will shut back down the country. Then they may not have an election. You see, over the weekend, Kenrick, I had some workmen home break. And these are some of the topics that came about. Because I can tell you this much. Trinidad and Tobago citizens are very lawless. Look at the video of Maracas Beach. Look at the video that was posted up on the bars, people lying in the road, partying, setting. Here we're going on, Kenrick. To each his own. If the government do take their measure and lock back down this country, I will clap. You know why? We deserve to be locked down because of our attitude and our behavior. Have a good morning.
All right, well, thank you very much, Larry, for your contribution here with me this morning. I know that the Prime Minister did indicate when he spoke on Saturday that as a people, if we do not behave in a particular way, well, then there will be repercussions. Decisions will have to be made. And that as a people, we are very reckless indeed, very lawless. So we do not take things seriously in this country unless, of course, you have the police actually enforcing such. Anyway, so you can call us this morning at 636-7547 and 227-5739.
Kenrick, our callers have been raising the concerns with, public transportation in particular, and they've been talking about the maxi taxis. But what about the taxis? Because, I had to travel to Chaguanas a couple times, and they fold the 7-seater and they squeeze you up, and people are sitting close to you, they're touching you, they're coughing, they're touching their faces, all these. I do not support the 100% capacity for taxis or maxis right now. I think they need to revisit that idea.
Well, rightly so, and one has to take into question too that passengers, even in these maxi taxis and even these taxis, do not wear masks and what have you.
No, they don't. They don't. Not even the drivers. And they're dealing with people. They're dealing with money, and money is one of the dirtiest things that you could actually touch.
Let's say, hello, good morning, and welcome to our program this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenrick.
Yeah, good morning, Larry.
Where is the social distancing? Where is the social distancing in a maxi taxi, in a PTSD bus, in a taxing out of what? A big issue. And people tell you, wait, Kenrick, hold on. Yesterday in my community, while I was home working, 2 weddings passed on the road, right? 2 weddings. And the amount of vehicles following these 2 Indian weddings, I know for a fact there were no social distancing in these gatherings or the reception areas we would talk about. So where is the social oh, no mask, no service? I have to laugh at them. Because can you remember last week I told you there is a grocery parallel to the David police post? And right next to the grocery was a bar that's locked down, fine. What people were doing in the grocery, Kenrick, they were going in and buying their beverages and they were sitting down outside of the bar. 30, 40 of them.
We have been calling on the police officers to do their job. But in the main, is it that we are taking away from police officers their objective and their fight against the real criminals in this country? And here it is, the government of the day trying to ensure that we observe what you call all of these guidelines by using moral suasion. And we as a people, we are now calling on the bar owners, to ensure that people comply. To me, this morning, here it is, you are telling people, well, look, social distancing, yes, but there are certain entities where you can apply such. Not in bar areas and in open spaces, you cannot do that. So what do you do? What do you do to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in this country? What do you do? And that's the challenge which bar owners have,
I have to agree with you. It is challenging, and I don't know if you paid attention to the public health guidelines that they would have issued. They were saying no more than 10 persons, I believe 6 feet apart. But come on, we're Trinidadians. Our culture is to dance, enjoy ourselves, take a dance on somebody, that kind of thing. So how does that fit in with the guidelines that they have issued?
Let's take some other callers on the line this morning, Nicole. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Ken.
And good morning, sir.
The people lack responsibility, the human being. Not everything the police have to do.
I agree with you.
Human being lack of responsibility wherever they go. The behavior, the discipline, not good. Lack of responsibility. So,
well, I hear you. Let's say good morning and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Ken, sorry about that.
Yeah, good morning, Chris.
Trinidadians like too much freedom. Discipline. Anytime you say something in this country for the benefit of people, you have people coming to criticize. Hey, but let me tell this country something. You talking about people drinking, buying in the bars, some in the pavement, you have no control over that. Well, I will tell you, a man coming to your bar in Toronto, and he start the car and bomb somebody, he come back and he sue you. Simple as that. A man come to your home, you have a party, you serve alcohol, get drunk, you go out and you bomb somebody, falling dead. How will you come to control that? We have to exercise responsibility on our own, and who want to play, we have business, whatever the case may be, we have to know we have a responsibility. If I buy, and you tell me you're going to buy and $50 by you there, so okay, for that, say, okay, don't come back and buy it for me. Don't come back and buy it. You have to be responsible when you go home and you go and get your wife sick, or you get a child sick, or your grandfather, or grandmother sick. I contribute towards that.
Yeah, but hold on, Chris. There's another element here. Here it is, bar owners have been mandated to shut their doors at around 10 o'clock. But you would have people would buy, let's say, about a 2 or at the side of your road. And after you close at 10, you have these people mingling in and around the bar area. I don't think that's the responsibility of the bar owners, but more so of the Trinidad and Tobago police.
He do have a responsibility. There's a responsibility. And they have to put this thing in law. All the Attorney General said, you can't put this in law, put it in law. Because we are people. We know when the time comes that you have to pay consequences. We know how to avoid having to pay consequences. Look at all this drunken driving. You know for a fact. Master is driving drunk like it was a style. Since they bring all these big them getting caught. They still want to drink, a driver who would not drink,
All right, well, I hear you, Chris, and let's give somebody else a chance here this morning.
Kenrick, but that goes to show, Trinidadians have this mentality. They're not going to do the right.
We are calling on the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to, quote-unquote, prosecute, apprehend, and what have you. But when you do that and you focus your energies and you focus the TTPS, focus their resources on in this area of concern, what about the other areas of concern? You're talking about hardcore criminals in this country.
Yes, that's right.
And that's the point I've been trying to make.
So many murders are taking place on a daily basis in this country. They need to focus on these things, than having to focus on...
The murder toll for the year now stands at 226.
Yep. Very high, yeah.
In a country of 1.3, 1.4 million people, the wave of criminality
continues. And we're now finishing the 6th month of the year.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
The wave of criminality. But that's a story for another time.
Yes.
Later on during the week, I'll try to get in touch with Brent Batson, who is head of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Road Safety Coordinating Response Team. So I'll try to get a comment from him. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Kendrick and Ms. Duki, can I make another comment?
Sure, darling. Go ahead.
All right, Kendrick, you and Ms. Duki saying how, we have, and lots of your callers saying that it's the public that is reckless. It is us that is, the burden should be on us, right?
It should be on us to be responsible citizens, yes?
I challenge you. The onus should be on government to lead by example. For decades, they have spoiled us, giving us hampers, giving us handout, and refusing to enforce the laws. How many of you Trinidadians know your rights? How many of you know what the Constitution says?
No, but
listen. We can't just sporadically say, everybody has to enforce the law when our borders are unsecure. Look, 12 people just came in from Venezuela. Venezuela has a lot of the coronavirus. What I'm saying is this. We don't understand the rules of law. And how could we... Partop is helping a guy up there. She shifted to the PNM, and he was charged with drunk driving. Wasn't he drunk and he was driving? And he's going to be in politics. This is the example. It's okay to be reckless. It's okay to stuck in shabby houses. It's okay to speed on the road. We're going to increase it by another 100 kilometers. We can't do this anymore, man. We have a future, but we keep living in the past. And we're still trapped in the plantation, and mass are still here. That is my comment, Kendrick.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll respond to you a bit later on. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Hello, morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I believe that the corporation is supposed to be more in, checking premises, like how they check premises, go around and check bags. You understand? Right? And leave this and take out this train from the police. They're not getting involved. You understand? Just like how little wardens go out and check for garbage and...
But you know what?
The municipal police officers you're referring to here, right?
Yeah, you understand, right? You're supposed to have those little wardens or health control workers going outside here and checking these things.
All right. Well,
thank you.
I hear you, and thank you very much for your contribution with us. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
The young lady will talk about police. The government have to set the example.
The government cannot legislate for everything.
Let me tell her something. A person in politics will do what they need to get vote. If giving you a hamper, give me a vote, take a hamper.
That's right.
It is really people have to set the pace of what we want for ourselves in this country. You talk about the rights, all right? We must demand our rights. We must say, hey, we ain't taking 7.5. I had a problem the other night, and I talked to my MP. The next time they send a box by my house there. My son brought a box on my bed. I said, what is that? 2 bottles of water, a bottle of oil, some sugar, some flour. I said, what the hell? I called it. I got a box. We send you a hamper. Send a hamper. Send for the damn hamper. What you use to come and get it. If you want to go and tell the government, give me a hamper, vote for you. You think they'll give something else? You get exactly that. We have to be responsible for ourselves, our children, our future. Thank you much.
Well, thank you very much for your contribution. Well, look, Nicole, on many occasions on this program, I would say to the people, our listening audience, government cannot legislate for everything.
That's
there
true.
are guidelines. You, as a citizen, ought to adhere to the guidelines. But at times, look, Nicole, as I told you, I went to, and I had an mask for at least about an hour and a half. It is quite uncomfortable.
It is.
Very uncomfortable
Yes, it
indeed.
is.
But if this is what is needed,
yes,
well, then you have to comply.
Right.
You must comply. Otherwise, stay in your house. Stay in your house and go and come outside, you know. Because when you do that, the risk that you are taking, and this is what the government is trying to do, you know, to prevent risk.
Yes.
To take that, do not take that risk. When you look at what is happening in other jurisdictions, and I throw my mind back again to even what is happening in Florida, even what is happening in Houston. Look, I spoke to a relative in Houston, Texas yesterday, and he wants to come back home so
I'd want to come back home.
but they can't.
No.
Yeah. Because you know what? They realize what is happening outside there. I'm only using Florida, Houston, Texas as an example where
Right.
cases continue to rise even as more and more business open. Let's take a call on the line. Anyway, I'm sorry to have missed your call, my friend. You need to call us back 636-7557-39. You're with the morning program on 975. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Morning again, and they close down all those bars and those stuff.
Yeah, good morning.
Bars.
Yeah.
Well, they shut down.
Go
What
ahead.
is the new phrase? We have a new phrase. What is the new phrase, Mr. Kenrick?
What you do? I don't understand. We have so many new phrases.
Yeah.
No arms.
No.
Which one are you talking about?
No. One that eventually stem the whole world for that one.
Social distancing.
The new
when
norm.
It comes to that, you do normal.
The new norm, yes.
So all what you say that a bar, I looked at a video, man have a zip on the bar. On the bar. Pull the zip, he drink beer and close it back. Say, I consider the new normal.
Yeah.
Because here what the WHO telling us. There are about 10 different countries. Be sure to see a vaccine. So we have to learn as individuals to practice what? The new normal. The new normal is wearing a mask. 12 a week so long in a maxi, right? In this eye. So far, we have not have any social spread. No community spread.
Yeah.
So therefore, if we conduct together, but wear a mask, we go in the supermarket, there's still social distancing. I explained that to somebody the other day. But when you go in a taxi, all I mean the same thing. But it's how you as an individual now take in the hand now. We told you that we get frightened hand sanitizer. Always early morning.
All right, well, I hear it. No, well, Nicole, the point I'm making here is this. Why single out bar owners?
Right.
Why single out these people? When you have maxi taxis transporting passengers without mask, you have PTSC transporting passengers no mask, but you are not making certain threats against these people. Why? I am saying if PTSC says to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, if you do not have a mask, do not enter into the bus.
Right.
Make it mandatory. But to me, to single out bar owners and to put the emphasis that bar owners are responsible totally, it's not true.
Okay.
You, the people, need to adhere to the guidelines. It's a collective approach. And unless we do not do that, well then...
But the thing is, Kenrick, I mean, the bars tend to attract crowds, large crowds. That is what the government is trying to prevent, large crowds. You know, maxi taxis, sometimes you travel in a maxi taxi and yes, in some cases, okay, if you're leaving Citygate, the maxi is full. But if you're leaving Arima, the maxi is full as well. The maxi stand in particular in Arima. But people get off along the way, and then eventually there are like limited seats. There are actually more seats. I shouldn't say limited, more seats. And sometimes some maxis from between Arima and Port of Spain, half the way they are basically empty. So it's not like, you know, it's they're full capacity throughout the entire route.
Okay, let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Can I agree with you? No? If you say bar owners, you must also say buses, maxi taxis. You want to create a different culture. You can't have half of a culture. You can't have half of the compliance. It's compliance of compliance. I agree with you.
And one
PTSC, you have your master
consideration, the objective of all of this.
Exactly.
Social distancing to prevent the spread.
Prevent the spread of this thing to save lives. So I agree with you 100% of that. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much for your contribution here with us. Nicole, we need to take a commercial break at this time as we head up to the hour of 8 o'clock. It's just about, about 29 minutes here to the hour of 8. Let's hear from Eddie's Pharmacy this morning.
Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs. Sagicor Carry Care International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rosha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal and C3 Center, current.
Grand Diamond Hotel invites you to dine in our newest and exquisite grand opening Chai Thai restaurant situated at LP 12 Golden Grove Road, Piaku. Come and enjoy our authentic Thai and Indian cuisine, and our outdoor terrace would be available from the 22nd of June. We can offer you our indoor and outdoor patio and it's halal. For reservations, call 331-501-093. Our email address chaithai19@gmail.com. Opening hours 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. Takeaway and delivery services are available 11 a.m. to 2:20 p.m. Secure parking and excellent services.
Hi Sharon, how is your daughter?
Fine. She's 2 inches taller.
My son is 5 inches taller.
My daughter's class prefect.
Well, my son is president of the book club.
My daughter scored 90% on her SEA test.
My son... Fine, you win.
Newsday's newly revamped SEA test supplement helps students improve their chances of success. Let your child build today the future they want tomorrow. Monday Newsday. Newsday. Independent and credible.
27 minutes here to the hour of 8 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind KGC of a radio on 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. You are with the morning program on 975. Note that you can catch us live on YouTube at RCLU975. Let me repeat, on YouTube at RCLU975. You can also catch us at 975radio.com. And sharing the studio with me this morning is Nicole Duki, part of our program here on 975. Thus far, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to bar owners, if they do not adhere to the guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health and more so by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, well, they can take. They are prepared to take certain action, and some of those actions are no rules, no rum. Delinquent barmen threatened with cut in supplies. Note that just after the 8 o'clock hour, I'll be chatting with Teran. Let me get the name correctly here this morning. Teran Mohan, who is the interim president of the Bar Owners Operators Association of Trinidad and Tobago, the interim president, to get his thoughts on these threats coming from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley.
Soon. And but the threats didn't only come from the Prime Minister. The bar owners and patrons will be given a 48 period starting from Saturday, a 48-hour period where they're going to be observing. However, it is the chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Beverage and Alcohol Alliance, Dr. Patrick Antoine, who said that no alcohol for bars breaching the regulations.
To me, that's
a decision.
To me, that's an idle threat. You know why? Because these beverage companies need the way you call liquid cash, Nicole.
Well, I honestly didn't listen to the entire media briefing yesterday. However, I heard him say that they have had instances in the past where they would have given instructions to these companies not to events and such like that. So he believes that this might be effective on their part.
He's living in another world,
You think
yeah,
so?
he lives in another world. This is Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
This is Trinidad and Tobago. Party
And
country.
given the economic situation as well, everybody wants to make sure that they have some type of revenue.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago is the party capital of the world.
Yes, of course.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, the Honorable Kenrick and the Honorable young lady there.
Good morning.
Nicole Duki.
Oh, Miss Nicole, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And I have a question. You know why?
Why?
Social distancing, all you isolate Mukesh?
No, we are isolate Mukesh. Mukesh could have served better the people, or better our listening audience by, him having his own show and so on. And of course, that is from 6 o'clock this afternoon until 9.
All right, very good. Now, I want to talk about this thing about all the bars.
Yeah.
Has the ministry given out protocols for opening of the bars? And what are these protocols? Because I use, for example, you go to the ministry, and one of the first things they do, you wash your hands and things like that, and then they take your temperature, right? You go to the hospitals, and I'm focusing on Mount Hope. Apparently, they have taken your temperature. So it's all over the place. You see people walking around without masks and things at the hospital. So you want to know what is going on. They're not telling you in a concerted way what are the guidance. I know they say they can't pass legislation, but give people proper every sector you open, say, fellas, this ABC.
There are releases in various media publication. There are guidelines. The question is whether people are aware of these guidelines, whether the bar owners are aware. Okay.
So are we educating the public? What are the do's and don'ts? Because I believe a lot of people, I mean to say, the pitman say Trinidadians and Tobagonians are stupid there, but I don't believe so, because at have a time we come in right down the road there. We're going to show how smart we are. But people are not stupid. And if you basically tell people 1, 2, 3, 4 times, it goes sink in. It's just like a baby learning to walk. You'll creep before you walk, and they will understand. I go Mr. Kenrick and Miss Nicole.
Okay, my friend. Thank you very much. Outside there are guidelines. The Ministry of Health would have outlined guidelines for bar operators and bar owners. But the question in this essence, are these bar owners complying? Are they aware? Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to make a contribution with this bar thing, right? Now, you see, sometimes people is the one to blame for these things. Because here it is, you have guidelines that are out, right? And a lot of people not following it. Even the mask wearing, where they say you need to wear masks when they go. Some people are not wearing. Even the people who are serving are not wearing. But one has to remember, during the COVID-19, right, when all the bars talk about central, because I'm from the area now, it's regular being central, you see these supermarkets were selling alcohol. And people park up outside and drinking loud music. What is the problem now? What is the problem? You see, the government is not watching all these things. You see, they're making decisions, right? And they only want to look at one side of the story. But you have to remember, when the bars was, you see, this is the problem. I was always saying alcohol on the whole should have banned for the whole period. But then again, how the 1% will come make the money, right? And we need to look at this. You cannot blame the bar owners. You have to blame the people. And the law needs to enforce. If it is that a police officer needs to go out there and, for example, seatbelt. Nobody used to wear seatbelts, but when they start to get tickets, you see a lot of people, 99% of the people have on a seatbelt. So you need to police these people, Sam.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much. And that's where the problem lies, policing. How do you police? I mean, you have all of these guidelines and what have you. But as a people, we have a tendency to break rules, We are people like that. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, hello, morning.
Good.
I'm Tobago, Kenrick, and
Nicole. Good morning.
Nicole.
Good morning.
I just want to touch on something else. I mean, you all on the bar and all that. I want to touch on the high wind and the trees that blow down on their people's properties and stuff this weekend here, and stuff with high wind and trees and stuff. I just want to make mention of that, if you could speak on that at some point. Like people cut their trees and stuff to make sure that, with the season coming up on us, we don't have any trees falling on homes and all of that. Basically, that is it. Yeah.
Okay, well, very good observation indeed. Well, look, I can tell you because there's a story published in the Newsday here today. A Pinal family of 5 shared terror when a wooden house crashing down just after midday yesterday. But it's something which we will touch on.
Yeah.
Let's take this caller. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning. No, this is not Miss Ann. That is Miss Nicole Dookie. Good morning.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Kimoti.
The bad situation. You ever bad on here? There are people all in scarf blocking, and then after, and they giving you some. You know what kind of road it is, we see when it's wrong, right? So,
Well, yeah, okay. Well, we hear you, Kimoti. Nicole, that's one of our regular callers. She's, she always like to lend her thoughts to our discussion here this morning. But no, it's a situation which we are facing with, and I don't know how it will after this tongue lashing coming from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to bar owners, whether we'll have greater, let's say, policing of all of these measures over the coming weekend. Well, certainly it is a challenge. To the caller there, the Met Office did indicate that we are in for a very active hurricane season.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah. Together with the Preparedness and Management, ODPM, they would have issued guidelines, informing people as to...
They are very much, if you are on social media and you go on these pages, they would actually see all the guidelines for how to prepare for flooding, how to prepare for every form of natural disaster, emergency numbers, stuff like that. And that is something that people need to get into the, this is a new norm too, right? Getting these numbers, having them like the unexpected, because imagine who would have thought that those trees along the Brian Lara Promenade would have fallen, Queen's Park, Savannah, who would have thought those big trees, strong trees,
Let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Nicole Dookie.
Yes, that's her name. You got it right.
Good morning, Mr. Kenry.
Good morning, sir.
Any relation to Miss Ann Dookie?
Oh, we are not related.
Go ahead, friend.
Yeah, but we're dealing with this squatting thing. But I seen on the Guardian here, page 8, where somebody have a house inside their Pine Reserve. It's called house among a state forest reserve in Aruka there. And I think, every time close to the election, you find this happen. It happens at all the elections, where maybe they think the authorities are really on the alert or are wrong at that point in time.
And I want
to redress a forest reserve. Like, what's going to happen when they go into this forest reserve now? If you observe the picture in Ghana, they cut down the trees that is valuable to our rainforest and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And where they find themselves, I mean, even checking the way they were all the time, they don't need to do it. It's just this mischief and trying to grab the land. So we need when we look at the explanation that any papers, what they told, I think was saying the authorities need to update these laws and these guidelines, regulations, so the action against it can be more effective. And we haven't had a challenge there with that.
But Kenrick, I don't know if he was paying attention to the Parliament, but this is one of the issues that they would have done, deeds, all the different things regarding land and registering land and having titles for your land,
Well, this brings back us to another situation facing us in country. Last week I would have spoken about a land use management policy, whether there's a land that squatting is illegal in this country.
It is.
So
yes.
too vending is illegal unless of course you have a necessary documentation. Squatting is illegal, and people for some reason or the other knowing fully well that the government of the day or the authorities of the day do not have the necessary resources, human and otherwise, to police these vast acreage of lands and so on. Lands and squat.
And sell too.
Knowing fully well that they will not be caught, they will not be apprehended, they will not be prosecuted. That's how us as a people, we behave. And my caller just spoke about, there seems to be an increase in squatting, especially around when there's on state land, and the state take action to remove you. That becomes a political issue,
Of course it does.
They talk about discrimination, they talk about persecution and what have you. So that is what is happening in the country. Anyway, Nicole, we need to take a commercial break at this time, and when we come back, we'll FM Hot Like Pepper.
Jyoti's Puja Store is your one-stop puja store for all puja, wedding and cremation materials. Also available books, mithai and murtis made to order. Visit Jyoti's Puja Store today and be greeted with the kindest and most courteous parking. Jyoti's Puja Store located at 542 Southern Main Road, Chase Village, Shigwanas. Contact 671-3849.
JD Customs Brokerage Services Limited for all your shipping and brokerage needs. We provide enough will handle your shipment with care and safety. Visit JD Customs Brokerage Services Limited at number 51 Stephen Street, California, or call 22 WhatsApp us at 356 jdpsltt@gmail.com.
Well, yes, before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about squatting and land and what it could negatively affect the ease of doing business in the real estate market. I just thought I'd mention that to you this morning. And also this morning, we went to Alcohol Alliance, the Trinidad and Tobago Hotel, Restaurant and Tourism Association, and the Bar Owners Operators Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And as I told you before, a bit later on in the program, I'll be chatting with Teran Mohan, who is the interim president of the Bar Owners Operators. So that should be a very interesting deed. Yes, and we're also talking here about our porous borders, the fact that a number of Venezuelans would have been caught trying to get into Trinidad and Tobago. Kudos, congratulations goes out to the members of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, the members of the Trinidad and Tobago holding these Venezuelans and letting the necessary authorities look at the situation. Let me remind you of the story. Police are investigating the illegal entry of 12 Venezuelans through Palo Beach on a Saturday. Well, how many times have I seen in this country? There was a report.
Derek, when a fisherman in this country is caught and held for ransom by Venezuelans, I don't feel sorry for them. Let me tell you what is happening right now, Kevin. You know them big fish bins that the fishermen and them use to put the catch in? The big fiberglass bins?
Yeah.
Here what is happening, and business people in Rock Road, and even some police officers in the penal police station are involved with it. These fishermen are buying Venezuela and selling, and if they cannot get their things sold, they bring in other things involved that is illegal. That is fraud to the government. They are breaking the law. Number of calls were made and text messages were sent to Gary Griffith on this matter. When you think about when you're giving the news and they say that the green band maxis and them picking up Venezuelans, it's no lie, Henry. It's no lie. So when you talk about the borders and not well statements, we have made numerous text messages to Mr. Gary Griffith. We've voicemailed everything for him. We haven't got back any response from him. Up to yesterday, I spoke to an officer from the Tactical Squad in Port of Spain on this matter. They are going to investigate it because it is a serious, serious thing. So when you talk about the porous borders, it is true. And these fishermen and many business people are encouraging it in that area, Ken. Have a good one.
All right, well, thank you very much. Let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Why we have a porous border and why those fishermen will continue to behave like that? The Prime Minister refuses to take a stand on territorial position on the Venezuelan government and his support of the Venezuelan government. If we were to take a stand on those territorial waters, we would say that it's illegal what Venezuela is doing to our waters in Venezuela. He will never speak up because that's what I wanted to say. Thanks.
All right, well, thank you very much. We go to the lines again. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 975. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call, my friend. Okay, you're back on the line with us. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Kendrick. And morning, Ms. Duki. You're welcome.
People would talk about the Coast Guard officers and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Well, look, you have genuine police. Hold on. You have officers who are bent on doing their job, but you also have some delinquent police officers and Coast Guard officers. But there's only so much that they can dark of night in the dark of facilitated by big business people in this country, boy, and that's the point I'm making to you and listening audience for the longest while.
And the next part about it is that when they catch these fellas them transported, these Venezuelans, what is the charges they laid against them and how much it has cost them fellas to pay from the pocket? Anybody? No, I never read that. So I trying to find out that if this equals just stop working, you catch them, the maxi carrying what is the charges for that? You have any idea?
All right. Well, I'll get the details for you and the information to you, and I will share it with you. Well, we have some other callers here on the line. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, the honorable host.
Good morning, my friend. And
how can we lock down a porous border?
That's the point I've been making for the longest while.
Because you remember, we have a policy to open it up to senior officials of Venezuela, right?
No. We would have exhausted that already. Let's move on from there.
All right. Listen to me. And is there a link? You remember there was a senior policeman somewhere in the East police station.
All right. Hold on. Before you go into your conspiracy.
No, I'm concerned. This is fact that a young lady from probably Venezuela had on his uniform, and they investigating that.
I know of this story well, my friend. Go ahead.
Right, but what I'm saying, if there is a connection, this is one of the reasons we cannot close it out.
Well, and this
cannot plug the pause in the boroughs.
No, and this is the point I mean. You cannot blame the Prime Minister or the government of the day for such, because there are senior officers who are charged with various responsibility, but they fail to deliver because at the end of the day, as I said to you, those people who are coming into quote porous borders are facilitated by big business people in this country.
Definitely so. And it's not only the fishermen, because the fishermen is one part of the whole chain of events.
But you know our challenge here, my friend, is not about COVID spread. You know, the challenge here is these Venezuelans entering into our country know fully well that in Brazil is the epicenter of coronavirus in the Americas. You know, if you understand the point I'm making. And free movement of people.
Yeah. Can it come from Brazil to Venezuela to Trinidad? That is why we're supposed to have double wall. Invite Trump to come down and build a wall.
And who's going to pay for it?
Huh? Well, we're building a highway to nowhere. You know, we could build a wall to nowhere too.
No. Certainly, look, we have a real challenge here. And let me read the headline again for you. Police are investigating the illegal entry of 12 Venezuelans through Palo Seco Beach on Saturday.
Yeah.
Only one investigation? How many times we have heard, and the gentleman, about 3 callers ago, he's right. If Gary not responding, you remember it have a number, something Gary? Apparently, he threw that phone away.
But there's a Trinidad and Tobago Police Service now has an app where you can actually download on your phone with a police officer.
All right, listen to me. And I'm going to the heart of it.
Right.
The ministries have phone numbers, right?
Yes, they do.
When you call it, do they answer it?
Well, that's another question altogether.
No, I'm just telling you. Having an app and responding to the information, it is 2 different things, you know.
The app actually works, though. It does.
All right, we have this final call on the line before we go up to the 8 o'clock hour. Hello, good morning. Welcome. Yeah, good morning.
Big business is not just people. You see, Brian Resident here who wants to live here is one thing, is flesh trade, is wild meat trade, is exotic species of birds and animals, is drugs, is guns. We talk about porous borders. During World War II, you had the army around our coastline. You know the place they call Gun Hill. You do it in Labrador, I think. They have a 3-story thing, concrete thing, where you had guns mounted on top and all that. They're still there. Why don't we have the regiment? It was there before.
All right, Chris, let's leave it there for the hour. I need to go up to the 8 o'clock hour and take the 8 o'clock newscast. And when we come back, we'll be in the final hour of today's edition, 975.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for
5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverage Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 8 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Irma Ratan Singh. Good morning. The bar is in their support of the regulations. This comes after two of the bar owners were held for operating their bars after hours. The Bar Owner Association thanked the Prime Minister for the intervention. There have been speculations from the opposition in recent weeks on whether elections may be held in late August or early September. However, the Parliament's annual recess quickly approaching, MPs are waiting to see if any election date may possibly be called. Parliament normally takes its annual Parliament regulations. Both the upper and lower houses of Parliament must take a recess until the first week of September. The parliamentary term in a recent statement that elections will be called when due and no later than December 23rd. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has stated that government will continue to pursue the establishment of the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. He made the statement over the weekend. The Prime Minister said government has been trying to maintain social services even though revenue has been declining. The decline in revenue is due to a drop in oil and gas prices. In order to address matters, government is working towards a more efficient system of tax collection.
I've done reasonably well in this country. Put you in Goodwood Park. I have one in Mason Hall in Tobago. I have one somewhere else. Bottom line is in one Woodbrook Place, not paying 1 cent property tax.
The voice of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. Passengers quarantined on the Enchantment of the Seas cruise ship would now be moved to state quarantine on land. From the Ministry of Health. In a media release, the ministry said the decision was taken in light of 3 recent COVID-19 cases from the ship. Over the weekend, 2 more persons on board the vessel tested positive for the virus. According to the ministry, the decision was made after a virtual meeting involving the Ministry of National Security and other stakeholders to discuss the quarantine status of Trinidad and Tobago nationals on board the vessel. The ministry said this is to facilitate the continued monitoring of these nationals. In summer, there were 3 foreign nationals and 2 Trinidadian nationals on board the vessel. Officers found 5 large packages containing the substance. The vessel, its contents, and the persons were handed over to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Customs and Excise Division, and Immigration Division. Regionally, District 4 Returning Officer Clement Mengo has claimed a second fraudulent declaration for Demerara Mahikes following hours of chaos on March 13th. His claims were made even though earlier that day, Chief Justice Roxanne George issued specific instructions on the issue of statements of poll, which he failed to comply with. Mingo's second fraudulent declaration compounded the electoral crisis that had blown up around his first libeled declaration on March. Internationally, China is not taking any chances of a second wave gripping the country, despite having largely contained its outs. This as the number of people killed by the coronavirus 100,000 worldwide. In mid-June, a cluster of cases was linked to a fresh produce market in the southwest of the capital. Authorities quickly imposed a lockdown on 11 residential compounds in the vicinity of the market, prohibiting anyone from entering or leaving. Residents had their temperatures checked and reported on a daily basis, and their food and daily necessities delivered. And now for some weather news. Today will be partly cloudy with showers expected in varying localities. Winds are likely in a few areas during the afternoon. Maximum temperature 32 degrees. High tides 10:44 a.m. and 11:18 p.m. Low tides at 4:45 p.m. Join us again at 10 a.m. for another news update. I am Irma Rajan Singh. Good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Leisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday. A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware foundation to finish, not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose. Contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations, Trin City Industrial Estate in Chaguanas and Cuba. For quality items, super quality
Here at 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, just about 10 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Note that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a Radio 975. Well, in just a short bit, I'll be chatting with the Bar Owners Operators Association President, Mr. Teron Mohan. But before we get into that interview here this morning, I think it is necessary that we give you, the listening audience, or actually sharing audience, as to this association, when it was formed, and thus have you. So to give you that those details, Nicole Duki.
Okay, so Kenrick, judging from what I've been seeing here, the association was formed back in May during the lockdown of COVID-19 where all bars were closed. The association was formed so that they can basically submit protocols because they wanted to be reopened in phase 4 of the reopening stage. And the association was formed, they were formed and they submitted protocols to the chief medical officer with regards to the reopening of bars. I guess when we speak to Mr. Mohan, he will give us a little more details as to how many members they do have and stuff like that. But this is something new. It's the first time we've been hearing it. A lot of people have been asking about the Bar Owners Association, and it's a recently formed body basically to represent the bar owners in the midst of COVID-19.
All right, let's go to a very short commercial break, Nicole, and when we come back, of course, we'll engage Mr. Mohan in discussion here this morning. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Light Pepper.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT, specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays for your convenience. Available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Manufacturers Limited of 44 Bay Road, Bamboo Village, La Romaine. Manufacturers, wholesalers, and importers of wheelbarrows, ridging, roof bolts, hold-down bolts, nipples, washers, hinges, sag rods, face basin, spades, door frames, etc. Telephone them on 657-4716 and fax number 657-4952. Email us at keltonpuran.mltd@yahoo.com.
Well, yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975. Is Mr. Teron Mohan, who is the Bar Owners Operators Association president. We just want to get some thoughts from him. Big story which we've been talking about all morning. So let's say a very special good morning to Mr. Mohan this morning. Good morning, Mr. Mohan, and thanks for taking our call this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, certainly give us walk us through this association, when it was formed, what is the objective, and what have you, because it's a new organization. Yes, walk us through it.
All right. So the organization is very recently formed. We acquired our registration known as the Barkeepers and Operators Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Our abbreviated designation being BOAT, B-O-A-T-T. The association was born out of the need for representation by the industry. It is something that we were in discussions with for years, and while the pandemic came to our doorstep, we saw the need to mobilize and establish ourselves in the sector, establish a representation, and to provide between the bar owners and the government and the relevant authorities with regards to any issues that may be affecting us directly. The primary one was being able to understand what phase we would have been allotted or aligned ourselves with when it comes to reopening.
Well, certainly a noble effort indeed, and a noble measure. But we have some new developments taking place here in the country, given the fact that we operate in a COVID environment. The number of positive cases in Trinidad and Tobago stands at 126. There would have been certain guidelines outlined by the ministry. What are members telling you?
All right. Well, needless to say, my members are expressing, large amount of grief. You are talking about, well, according to Ministry of Finance figures, 5,000 establishments, but we are currently representing 300 persons who have registered with us to seek our representation. It's grief overall. Some are suffering. Some have had to already opt for closing operation entirely. It ranges from even some of the larger, more popular establishments right down to the most simpler, family-oriented establishments. So there is a lot of disappointment. There is a lot of grief taking place, a lot of distress amongst the members.
All right. How challenging it is as the president of the association to, let's say, educate your members as to how best they can operate with all of these guidelines in strike, maintain social distancing and set out by the Ministry of Health, and more so in terms of trying to generate revenue?
Well, it was difficult, needless to say, in the earlies to get everybody on one common level and to understand exactly what needs to be done or what needs to be required of them, what is expected of them. The realities that eventually shook them all, that this is presently what is happening. This is a situation that is here. We can protest about it, or we could object to some of the guidelines as much as we would like to, but the situation is very present. While yes, we don't have the issue of community spread. Prevention is always better than cure. Better to be out ahead than to fall behind.
All right.
So education was educating them. Really didn't take much effort from us. They understood everything because we all relate very closely and tightly, and we all share the same interests.
All right. Do you see the need, Mr. Mohan, to impress upon your members? Because a viewer shared with us this morning on this program that some of your members may not be quite, let's say, au courant as to what are the guidelines. Do you think there's a need for greater education?
There is certainly a need for greater education. We have taken measures. We have formed relationships with different associations and devised a program of education to the bar and restaurant industry owners and its of the guidelines, how to effectively utilize what has been presented to them, and just to get everybody to that one level.
All right. Well, the Trinidad and Tobago Beverage Alcohol Alliance and the Trinidad and Tobago Hotel, Restaurant and Tourism Association, they are making certain threats. No rules, no rum. In your humble view, Mr. Mohan, do you think that this is too much of a harsh of a decision, that it is being arbitrarily done? There ought to be proper consultation with your members and other stakeholders.
It is a harsh threat, but you know what? The consequences are even harsher. And the same interest that we have vested within the industry, they also stand the equal amount to lose as well. If bar shut down in its entirety, these other companies come to that level that they would have already been afforded to, or they were accustomed to. Our closure would result in taking away massive amounts of business. So what they're already pushing for, and I agree with them, is to narrow it down to accountability. And that is really the message that we're trying to put forward there. The population, especially of the operators and owners, will exercise more responsibility.
Is it that do you share the view that your organization is being? I made a point here this morning. If you're talking about proper policing, one also has to look at other entities that encourage what you call a greater, let's say, movement of people. We're looking at PTSC buses, at maxi taxis, and what have you. The point I'm making to you, if you want to do this or you want to take these action, you will also have to look at other entities, because at the end of the day, it's about preventing the risk of contracting this virus. You'd agree with me?
Precisely. I agree with you to that targeted. I don't want to go that far, but if it is we are going to be being made an example of with that respect, then they need to pay closer attention to those very other entities. Water parks, beaches, public transportation system, casinos. Why is it that the bars are being directly targeted on a whole and not any attention being paid to these other variations? If it isn't, I saw pictures and photos of Maracas yesterday gone. It was a madhouse. So they also need to not just hold us accountable for the ill deeds of one or the misdeeds of one, but do something standardized across. Yes, but don't just give us guidelines when other parts of the country or the economy, within the country, they're not following those same guidelines. No policing going on, no patrolling going on, and it was made very clear in the earlies that the TTPS, as well as members from the Ministry of Health, would have gone about doing active policing and making checks to these establishments, the bars and restaurants, checking to make sure that people are complying and all that kind of thing. But suddenly now, one or two videos make it out there, or pictures make it out there, and and they hit the mainstream media, and we have been blacklisted, we've been given threats, and they've just automatically been attacked just from thinking about the other stuff.
Okay, going forward, Mr. Mohan, what would be some of your recommendations? Because certainly, if these threats do come into reality, your grouping, there will be further pressures on workers, and you rightly said workers would stand to lose their job. But going forward, what are some of your recommendations?
Going forward, I want the establishment owners to understand something very clearly. We got nothing from the stimulus packages that were made available to the rest of the public. Our workers today, after a 3-month period, they were the very first to embark on registering to get their grants and so on, and their public assistance. On a restaurant environment that I know about so far to date, amongst my membership, have received a single red cent from what has been made available to them. The bar establishments as well, we got nothing really either to say we could buffer it since fees outright. And then we have the upcoming game taxes, which they're trying not to budge on, and we've been appealing for them to give us a waiver or some kind of structured arrangement behind it. I need these bar owners to remember to factor these things in. You are not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting a nation at risk, you're putting the industry at risk, you're putting your employees and their families who are highly a food network or a food and beverage network salary to sustain their living.
Mr. Mohan, is it warranted at this time for your organization to meet with other stakeholders in the industry to find consensus on this matter? Would you support such a measure?
We have been doing that actively to date. Again, as I reiterate my affiliation with the Beverage and Alcohol Alliance, as well as the Hotel Restaurant and Tourism Association, we've even gone forward with regards to members from Carberry. Eventually, we're trying to open up channels with Angostura, some of the bigger players, and then we want to extend to the relevant authorities, to the DPS, to the Ministry of Health, to the Prime Minister even. We are trying to go and get that far.
Well, Mr. Mohan, this weekend coming, let's say from Friday into Saturday and Sunday, could be the litmus test. That is the barometer whereby the government of the day would make a judgment call as to whether further restrictions could or ought to be placed on this little fraternity. What would you say to your members?
Do what needs to be done. Do what is expected of you. Follow your guidelines. Enforce your audience, your patrons. Let them comply to what is being asked of you.
Thank you very much for sharing some thoughts with us here this morning. And, we'll continue to monitor the situation. And maybe sometime next week we can get a further response coming from you, my friend. Okay? Thank you very much for being with us here. Yeah. Well, of course, that's the voice there of Mr. Teran Mohan sharing some thoughts with us this morning. Let me thank my colleague, Nicole Duke.
Please hang up and try.
For facilitating such a conversation. Good morning and welcome to 97.5. Good morning to you.
Excellent interview, Kenrick.
Thank you very much, Chris.
I agree with Mr. Mohan that they have to understand it's not just the bar. It's your patron, their families, the nation, a whole dependent on your actions too. Now he talked about their employees haven't gotten any of the money from the packages, but these are being done. If these people are not registered for NIS, they wouldn't get money.
Well, point well taken, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So I think they have got to look at it. And you made a statement earlier about people in this country not wanting to follow the rules. But can I let me say something? We came from slavery indentureship. I want to slave our indenture. The master rules, not work. He's a hero. And that culture come down the line, and we haven't changed that culture in this country yet. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Chris, for your contribution here with us this morning.
Kenrick, going back to the same point that the caller just raised, in terms of, Mr. Mohan stating that, to his knowing, no employees at any bars got any assistance from the government. Well, I remembered, I don't want to be wrong, but I believe it was the Minister of Social Development saying that the grants that was
Mhm.
and those different grants, they were for these workers, and there is a particular grant. The salary relief grant would be for those persons who are paying NIS, but the income support grants are for those who are not paying NIS, so they could have applied for that. So I don't know what is the reason why they probably did not receive any support. At the end of the day, there are a lot of persons, thousands and thousands of persons who would have applied, and it's human beings. At the end of the day, they are basically process time.
Well, the Prime Minister did indicate such, and I can remind you and the listening audience that sometime last week, the Minister of Communication, Donald Cox, would have affirmed or confirmed that 25,000 people thus far would have received or would have benefited from the salary review grant, and 20,000 other persons would have the grant.
Income support grant. Right.
She said it's a tedious process.
It is.
And given our culture where we like to get ourselves into
I was just about to say, we do have that issue where persons are trying to defraud the government. Huh?
Yeah. So there will be what you call checks and balances and
Yeah.
what have you. These things do not happen overnight. But I agree with our caller there. I think it is quite frustrating. It's always a tedious process. It is quite frustrating to know that you would have made this application over 2 months now and you haven't gotten anything as yet. But according sometime last week from the Ministry of Social Development, that those people who would have applied and have benefit thus far, well, they will contact you by text messages and tell you what are the reasons for you not getting the necessary benefit. Anyway, Nicole, we need to take a commercial break at this time. We're just about 8:30 here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me remind you that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Stay with us here.
It is back. Mukesh Baburam inviting you to join me right here on U975 FM for the return 29th June from 6 to 9 p.m. Enjoy your favorite segments and feel free to make your comments as we journey together. So join me, Mukesh Baburam, this Monday, 29th June for Talk Your Talk.
Are you tired of aches and pains in your joints and back area? Well, your relief is here with Ridopain Liniment. Ridopain Liniment strains, sprained ligaments, stiffness, and all your... It is also excellent for sport injuries. Try Ridopain Liniment today. It really works. Available at Bartlett Drugs and all leading pharmacies nationwide.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Penta, Cooper, Varma, BT Sino, Leviton and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for being with us here at 97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper. We're moving up to the hour of 9 o'clock. Just about 28 minutes here to the hour of 9. Note that at the top of the hour until the hour of 12 noon today with some beautiful music from our studio here in Couva in central Trinidad. And yes, you can also catch us live on YouTube at RCLU975. Let me repeat that. RCL at U975, and you can also log on at 975radio.com to get our discussion here this morning. So we're moving on with our conversation here this morning, and I want to touch on some other issues. The number of positive cases for COVID-19 in this country now stands at 126 new cases over the weekend. We'll continue to monitor that. Note that today too, the Ministry of Health will be hosting their press conference as it relates to COVID-19. So those of you who are interested, the Minister has to say more so the Chief Medical Officer. Well then, that's that conference is around 11 o'clock this morning. So you can... You wanted to tell the audience about something with the Registered Nurses Association of Trinidad and Tobago?
The Registered Nurses Association of Trinidad and Tobago, they are expected to meet with the health minister today. You know, they've been protesting at the different hospitals across the country over payments, over
outstanding
conditions
issues
at the hospitals, all these different things. So they are expected to meet with the health minister.
Well, sometime back, I pronounced on that where I said that, look, when we had this calling for what you call an increase in salary.
No,
You know.
they're calling for what they're owed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Outstanding issues. They want their outstanding issues to be addressed, and they're also talking about some of the infrastructure which is so needed
Yes.
at hospitals in order for them to provide the proper.
And we do look forward to hear what is coming out of that meeting. Let's hope that they can find a resolution because we still have COVID and we still need them. And we really don't want them to be having any protest action in the midst of a COVID pandemic.
All right. Well, tomorrow too, I will be chatting with Anita Haynes, who is the Public
Yes.
Relations Officer of the United National
yes.
Congress. I want to get her thoughts on the level of campaigning thus far.
Right.
Because I said last week that I'm disgusted with the level of campaign I've been seeing thus far, where people are engaged in character assassination and what have you.
Right.
And we had won the UNC election, a candidate for San Juan Barataria, Saddam Hussein. And certain claims were being made about his character and what have you. I think we should move beyond that. Let's look at the
Yes.
real issues of the day, the
Yes.
burning issues facing Trinidad and Tobago. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Kenneth, to add to what they were saying there.
Mm-hmm.
The country had too many burning issues
Mm-hmm.
to deal with people's personal life, and we need to deal with the issues because we really have a lot of challenges ahead of us, the land issue, the NIS issue. And I'm not hearing anybody campaigning on these issues. At the end of the day, sometimes we call on a show where they're saying that the system's in place, but even behind the systems, right, the issues are there to be dealt with by various groups that can highlight the issue. Take by the lower association. I know they should have a boisterous voice on issues that are affecting different areas of the country. The other issues, the other people, all these groups, just conveniently talk. So we need to really highlight the issue. Maybe the government need assistance because if they're seeing that if we have an issue, we not highlight the government might bother us.
No, but you
forward and highlighting it.
No, but
keep it on the front burner.
No, but and so on. I want to get your thoughts and the listening audience thoughts on the government of the day turning the sword, so to speak, of course, for the construction of the San Fernando Waterfront Development Project. That project has been ongoing for the past 10-15 years. Share your thoughts with me.
To me, since I used to run Scanners back young for I met teens, I had a project coming on stream. I 53 now, and I know it's like it's a charade every time before you the sun, and then like nothing else starts. So that's it might start this time.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much. No, I mean, as a southerner myself and Nicole, you would pass at the Lady Hales Avenue there development project, promised maybe 10-15 years ago. And I find it very, very unusual that here it is that you had the Minister of Works and Transport and other top government official journeying down to turn this side.
Yes.
So the question begs to be asked, political gimmickry, or are they really serious about, developing San Fernando and more so the waterfront?
Well, Kenrick, election is in the air. And of course, nobody wants to fail at elections, so they worry, even if it means that they have to start or even turn the sod for something, election is based on promises, right?
Well, according to who's Pure's program director. Pure is a program for upgrading roads efficiency. He said that the project will cost $70.49 million. $70.49 million. It includes what you call pedestrian overpass, a boardwalk, a bike path, and what have you. The point is, people of South Trinidad, I think they are fed up, totally fed up, of some of these promises coming from the government. 3 months before an election, 3 months before an election, you turn in the sod to start a project. Really, people? Let's take this
Not just South Trinidad, across the board, people are tired of waiting for basic things. I mean, simple as fixing roads,
You're taking people for granted. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Brian. How are you going?
Good morning, and good morning to your other new co-host.
Well, you should know her pretty well. You came with me for a very long time at another jurisdiction.
Let me just say welcome, my dear.
Thank you very much.
And you with the ever-dynamic Kenrick, a man who has survived all battles.
All right. But let's be serious here, Brian. San Fernando Waterfront Development Project. I want your thoughts on this. No, take away a political cap, because I know you are what you call the quintessential supporter of the United National Congress. Take away a political cap. Don't you think that it's highly unusual that you want to turn this sword for the start of a project? I mean, how real can you be? I mean, people are not stupid in this country. I have my opinion, but I'm not going to share it. Go ahead.
Well, let me just say that it's nothing surprises me when things are done by the People's National Movement in office. The waterfront project, as you know, was a project that took birth in 2012. The then Member of Parliament was there, Caroline C. Prasad Bechan, who was the Member of Parliament of San Fernando West under the People's Partnership. That project took birth in 2012. Then in 2013, we had a local government election.
No, but hold on. Let me throw your mind back to under the tenure of one Mr. Bas Depande. I remember when he was campaigning for a general election. I can't remember the general election now. He spoke about the San Fernando Waterfront Development Project and talking about water sports and what have you. Nothing has happened. You see, it is easy to make suggestion, but in terms of delivery...
Not only that, and yes, you're correct. Yes, Mr. Pandit did make mention of it. But you have to also give credit to where credit is due, right? And sadly, the current administration refuses to do that. This is what I'm saying. In 2012, right, the mayor of San Fernando, as you know, would have been Nabi Murdari, right? That matter for full approval. Then in 2013, we had a local government election. The PNM won the San Fernando City Corporation. You hear that project just went out. There's nothing being done by the corporation. Then we had a general election of 2015. You heard nothing except for where I believe it was the head of the San Fernando Business Association, who was Daphne Bartlett, who kept on making mention of it. The Member of Parliament of San Fernando West, who is now Faris Alra, yes, and it will come, and the people of San Fernando is going to be so happy to have it. Now you have where we have reached 2020, and you have general election is basically upon us.
All right. Well, I hear you, my good friend here, Brian. But this was a pet project by the People's National Movement. The project at the forefront, or rather, one of the projects as outlined by the current Attorney General, who is the Member of Parliament on the West, Faris Alrawi. And here it is. I'm seeing him here now in a picture, looking lovely indeed, looking very handsome indeed. Together with Mayor of San Fernando, Junior Ruggero, and the Minister of Works. I take serious issue with politicians in 2020 feeling as though people still living in the 1960s and 1970s. I take serious issue with this, but we'll just have to wait and see whether they can deliver on this project.
Is it because the Prime Minister said elections will be called before December 23rd?
Some people saying in September, Nicole.
Yeah, they are saying September, but you never know. You never know what he has up his sleeves. Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
But Kenrick,
yeah.
Again, we must not act surprised with these gentlemen.
Well, this is no election gimmick.
Right.
Right. In the words of my English law tutors, rubbish. Right? Because when in 2014, when this matter was to be looked at, why then, and I'm saying 2014, when, as you know, all the town and country planning approvals was given, and then, as you know, Gerald, why is it then that at this regional corporation, the San Fernando City Borough, that it was raised and then it was shelved? And then also, why then after in 2015, right, with the Ministry of Planning, and it was Camille Robinson Regis, why is it there at a question, right, by Dr. Suruj Ratan Rambachan, that she could not have answered? So, if it's not an election gimmick, then what is it?
All right.
And also, finally, I saw this big example, the brouhaha they had in Port of Spain
Mhm.
with the Christopher Columbus statue. And I mean to say that this is going a little really and truly too damn far.
All right, Brian, I hear you. Let's give somebody else a chance now. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah, go ahead, friend.
But then let's see how far the project. Oh, Mr. Ken, we have a challenge with with so many people out the country, with the election being called, people may say that their constitution might not be able to enter the country in time for the general election. So maybe the government may merely have to carry the election to December in order to facilitate by that time. We should be able to get in all who need to get in to the country by that time. So I don't know, that is a challenge that
who
33,000, 33,000, yeah.
Who cannot get into the country because of the borders being closed. Well, that's an issue for the government of the day. I don't have the answer to that, but I just want to go back to this story here with Fernando Waterfront Development Project and listen to what Rohan Sinanan is saying. Sinanan is saying what is coming to San Fernando will be on par with any developed country in any part of the world. San Fernando will be getting first-class facilities. He said the San Fernando project is but one of the package of infrastructural development projects earmarked for the entire country. Well, my friend, let me state to you and the listening audience, this is the season. And be very careful of the promises coming out of the mouth of politicians.
Definitely, because I think over the years you would have seen promises being made and promises.
Politicians will do anything, to encourage people to support their party in a particular way. But look, the San Fernando Waterfront Development Project is a project that will create a lot of... so we welcome the project. At the end of the day, the people will make a decision, whether this is just a political gimmick or whether it is just pure, what you call empty political rhetoric.
Yes.
The population, people of San Fernando, will make that decision. And note too that there's, I think that coming soon, maybe this week or next week, that the Cipero Bridge in San Fernando will be open to the public.
I saw a photo of that on social media recently. So yes.
Okay, let me see if I can get some information on that. I think it's...
If you noticed in the past week or so, they would have also turned the sod for a pool in the Maloney area.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it is so strange that on the eve of a general election, there's this great enthusiasm shown by the authorities of the day, the government of the day, to engage in projects, opening of pool, opening of road, cutting ribbons, turning sod. Mind you, these people feel Trinidadians are so gullible. Are we so puerile? Are we scum? We need to deal with serious issues of the day.
Yes.
Do not make empty promises to people, my friend. Do not. And welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Kenrick is also that lies again. The country don't have no money. They keep borrowing money. Where they going to get money to do that waterfront? And this country don't have a proper fishing port. This country do not have a proper fishing port. The whole of the country. They're going to put down a big project down in San Fernando. Let's try and find a good spot and put down a proper fishing port.
Thank you. And note that the project will cost over $70 million.
Yeah.
The project, $70 million. The San Fernando Waterfront Development Project. Anyway, we'll continue to talk about these issues in the coming days. And let me again welcome Uki to our program here this morning. Her voice will be a regular one on 975, especially on the morning program. Yes. So thank you very much, Nicole. First of all, what's your take on your first morning?
It was very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
The callers were, I love the callers.
I
love to listen to the opinions of others, Okay. Yeah.
All right, 5 FM Hot Like Pepper. A bit later on in the afternoon, you can join Ken Ali and Ann Dookie. Yeah.
Don't mix up the Dookies, okay?
The tongue tired again. You can join Ken Ali and Ann Dookie from around 3 in the afternoon until 6 as they continue to engage you on some of the issues of the day. And just after 6 o'clock, you can join Mukesh Baburam for Talk Your Talk on the 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. It's only happening on one frequency, folks. Wherever you go, or whatever you're doing, take 975 FM Hot Like Pepper with you. We'll keep you thorough